Beautiful people, how you doing? Yes, my name is Kathu and welcome to my channel. Kathu. So, in our last lesson, when we were looking at the trick for mastering tables 21 to 100, I left you with one question for practice. If it doesn't ring a bell, I'll leave the link to that lesson in the description box below so that you're all on the same page. So what is the question? Work out this, okay? So anytime you see a question like this, you should automatically know that you need to be conversant with table 49, okay? And for table 49, we'll start by writing tables 4 and 9 side by side. We went through tables 4 and 9, so I won't repeat. I'll leave the links in the description box below, okay? So this is what we said about table 4. 4 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7 times 8 times 9 and times 10, okay? And yes, and this is what we said about table 9. 9 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7 times 8 times 9 and times 10, okay? Yes, that's what we said about tables 4 and 9. And side note, order really matters here, okay? Order really matters here, okay? So, yeah, I want to remind you we are doing table 49. Order really matters here. We started with table 4, then table 9, okay? Be very careful. We've done this because we are looking for table 49, okay? So if you are doing table 94, that one would have started with table 9 and then table 4. Take note of that, okay? So now that you've done that, now that you've done that, the next step will be to add the first multiplication table with the digits in the tens place for the second multiplication table. Okay, this is tables 4 and table 9. Okay, so when we add this, what do we get? So we are supposed to add this and this. Okay. Okay, so when you add this, what do you get? 4 plus 0 is 4, and then you retain the 9. 8 plus 1 is 9, retain the 8. 12 plus 2 is 14, retain the 7. So when you add this, you get okay, so we'll continue adding. So this is what you are doing here, plus. Okay? Okay, what is 24 plus 5? 24 plus 5 is 29. Retain the 4. So when you add this, you get this. Okay? And that is your table 49. Okay? That is your table 49. So this is 49 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5. Okay? Times 6 times 7 times 8 times 9 and times 10. Okay? So now that you have table 49, answering this question will be a walk in the park. Okay? So where is 240 in table 49? 240 is in between this and this. Okay, so we'll write a 4 because this is less than this. Okay, so we'll write a 4 because 4 times 49, as you've seen, is 196. When you subtract this, you get 44. Okay, and by the way, if subtraction is a challenge, I'll leave the link to the video on subtraction of whole numbers in the description box below. Okay, so once you watch that lesson, subtraction and borrowing will become more clearer. So when you drop the 1, you get 441. Where is 441 in table 49? 441 is here. Okay, so we'll write a 9. So you'll write a 9 here, because as you've seen, 9 times this is 441. When you subtract, you get 0. Okay? Yes, and just like that, you have your answer. The answer to that question is 49. Are we together? Yes. So today I'd like us to go through, as you've seen in the title, multiplication of whole numbers. Multiplication of whole numbers, okay? So now that you've basically gone through all the tricks for mastering tables 1 to 99, or in other words, since you've mastered the multiplication tricks for all the numbers that are less than 100, doing this topic will be a breeze, okay? So I want to start by saying that this video might be longer than usual because we'll go through the common or traditional way of multiplying numbers, and then I'll teach you some tricks here and there, okay? So we'll first go through the most common or traditional way of doing multiplication. Then we'll learn a trick for multiplying any number by 11, 5, 25, 125, and multiplying 2-digit numbers, multiplying 2- and 3-digit numbers, multiplying 3-, 4-, and 5-digit numbers in that order. Are you together? So get a pen and a paper and stay tuned. Okay, so for every trick or concept, I'll do at least 2 examples so that the concept sticks. Shall we begin? So let's go through the traditional way of multiplying whole numbers. So yeah, let's do the first question. Multiply this. Okay, so the first thing you need to do when you're given a question like this is to make sure you arrange the numbers in order of their place values, okay? And of course, the bigger number has to be written on top of the smaller number so that multiplication becomes easy, just like we did for subtraction. Okay? Yes. So we'll write that. Let's do that. Okay. And because we are multiplying all these digits by 75, we'll write tables 7 and 5 separately. Yeah, because we'll multiply 5 with all the digits, and then we'll multiply 7 with all the digits. Okay, table 7, we did that in some time back, so I'll leave the links to those lessons in the description box below. Okay, so what is 5 times 5? 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so we'll write a 5 here and add a 2. Okay, we'll add a 2 here. So yes. So the next step would be to multiply this. What is 5 times 3? So what we are doing here, we are multiplying this whole thing by 5 first. Okay, 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, 15 plus 2 is 17. Okay, so you write a 7, carry 1. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 1 is 36. 6 carry 3. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 3, 23. Okay, so you've multiplied this by 5. Okay, yes. So we've calculated our 4 steps for the first digit. So let's now calculate the other 4 steps for the second digit. Okay, so we'll multiply 7 by all these digits. Okay, and when we multiply the second digit with a big number, we'll write it below the first one. Are we together? And since our second digit is on the tens place, it's always advisable Since our second digit is in the 10th place, our answer line will also start on the 10th place, okay? And it's always advisable to put a 0 in the ones place before you multiply the second digit so that you don't forget, okay? So let's get into it. 7 times 5 is 35. 5 carry 3. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 3 is 24. 4 carry 2. Okay? 7 times 7 is 49. 49 plus 2 is 51. Okay? 1 carry. Sorry, 5 carry 1. Sorry, 1 carry 5. Sorry. Yeah. The next step will to multiply this. 4 times 7 is 28. Are we together? 28 plus 5 is 35. So we'll write a 35 over here. Sorry, 33. Sorry about that. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 plus 5 is 33, not 35. My apologies, okay? Yes, so now that we've multiplied every digit, let's now add our answers, okay? When we add, we get 5 plus 0 is 5, 7 plus 5 is 12, 2 carry 1. 1 plus 6 plus 4 is 11, 1 carry 1. 1 plus 3 plus 4 is 5, okay? 2 plus 3, this is a 3, yeah? 2 plus 3 is 5, and 0 plus 3 is 3. So our answer to that question is that. Okay, that's the answer to that question. Yes, so let's look at another example. If you're given a question like this, the first thing you need to do is to arrange the numbers in terms of their place value, in order of their place value like this. Okay? And after you do that, the next step is to multiply all these digits with all these digits, okay? So when you multiply 4 with all this, you get this. When you multiply 3 with this, you get this. Okay? When you multiply 2 with this, you get this. And when you multiply 1 with this, you get this. Are we together? And then the last step is to add the numbers that you've multiplied. Okay? So when you add this, you get this. This is what you get after you add, okay? So this is the answer to that question. Have you understood? Yes. And that's about it. So let's now go through a trick for multiplying any number by 11, okay? Let's learn a trick. Multiply any number by 11, okay? So let's go through the first example. This times 11. So here, we'll start by multiplying the first digit of this number with the first digit of this number, which is 1. Are we together? So now we have 8 times 1. 8 times 1 is 8, okay? So we'll write an 8 over here. So we'll write an 8 over here. Okay? And since we are multiplying 11 with a 5-digit number, we leave 5 minus 1 spaces. Okay, so we leave 4 spaces. Are we together? So you leave 4 spaces, after which you'll multiply the last digit of this number with the last digit of this number, which is 1. Are we together? Yes. So let's leave 4 spaces. 5 minus 1 spaces. 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you multiply 5 times 1, you get 5. Okay? So how do we fill these spaces? So we'll add the digits that are consecutive to each other. And we'll start adding from the last digit as we go left. We'll start adding from the last digit as we go left. Are you together? So 5 plus 4 is 9. So we'll write a 9 we'll write a 9 here. 4 plus 3 is 7. We'll write a 7 here. 3 plus 9 is 12. So we'll write a 2 here and carry a 1 over here. 9 plus 8 is 17. So we'll write a 7 here and carry a 1 over there. Okay, so to get your final answer, you need to add this number with the numbers that you've carried. Are we together? So when you add, you get, this remains the same, 5, 9, 7, 2. 1 plus 7 is 8. 1 plus 8 is 9. Are we together? And the answer to this question is 982,795. That was quite easy, right? So let's look at another example. If you ask to multiply this times 11, okay, so pause the video and try it out. So here we are multiplying 11 with a 7-digit number, okay? So that means we'll leave 7 minus 1 spaces. So we'll leave 6 spaces. So when you multiply the first digits, 9 times 1 is 9, okay? So we'll write a 9 here and leave 6 spaces. 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 times 1 is 3. So how do we fill these spaces? We add these numbers. Are we together? 3 plus 4 is 7. So we'll write a 7 here. 4 plus 5 is 9. So we'll write a 9 here. 5 plus 6 is 11. 1 carry 1. Let me draw a line to separate the question and the answer. 6 plus 7 is 13. So 3 carry 1. 7 plus 8 is 15. So 5 carry 1. 9 plus 8 is 17. So 7 carry 1. Okay, so the last step is to add this number here with the numbers that you've carried. So when you do that, you get 3, 7, 9, 1. Nothing has changed. 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 plus 7 is 8. And 1 plus 9 is 10. So that means that the answer to this question is this number here. Are we together? Yes, that was quite easy, right? Exactly. So now I'd like us to go through the trick for multiplying any number by 5. Okay? So I want us to learn how to multiply any number by 5. And first of all, before you go deeper, is there another way we can write 5? Yes, 10 over 2 is another way of writing 5, because 10 over 2 is 5, okay? So that means that another way of referring to 5 is 10 divided by 2. Are we together? So let's look at an example. So if you're asked to multiply a question like this, how do you go about it? So now we've established that 10 over 2 gives you 5, okay? So that means that all we need to do here is to divide the number we are multiplying 5 by 2, okay? And then multiply by 10, okay? So let me show you what I mean. So this divide by 2 is this divided by 2 is this, okay? And this multiplied by 10 gives us this number here. Are we together? And with that, you have your answer. This multiplied by 5 gives us this number here. Are we together? Yes, exactly. So let's go through another example. The other example that I want us to go through today is this number here. So how do you multiply this number by 5? So the first step, as I started by saying, is to multiply this number by 2 and then divide it by 10, because we've established that 5 can be written as 10 divided by 2. Okay, so let's do that. So when you divide this number here by 2, you get, when you divide this number by 2, you get this number here. Okay? And when you multiply this by 10, when you multiply this number by 10, you remove this decimal, so you'll have something that looks like this. Are we together? And with that, you have your answer, okay? So you realize that this number is clearly not divisible by 2, but we still do the same thing, okay? We still follow the same procedure, okay? Is that clear? Moving on swiftly. So, how do we multiply any number by 25? Let's learn how to multiply any number by 25. Okay? And what is another way? How else can we write 25? 25 can also be derived by dividing 100 by 4. When you divide 100 by 4, you get 25. So that's another way of writing 25. Okay? Let's look at an example so that you understand what I'm talking about. So if you have a question like this, and you've been asked to multiply this question by 25, what do? The first step is to multiply this number by 4, because we've established that 25 can be written as 100 divided by 4. Okay, so that's why we're multiplying. Sorry, that's why we are dividing this number by 4. Okay, so when we divide this number by 4, if we divide this number by 4, what do we get? This divide by 4 gives us, when you divide this number by 4, you get this number here. Okay? And because 25 is derived by dividing 100 by 4, that means you need to multiply this number by 100. So when you multiply it by 100, you get this. Add 2 zeros, okay? So the answer to that question is this number here, okay? Have you seen how easy that is? Let's look at another example. So if you have a question like this, and you're asked to multiply it by 25, the first step is to divide it by 4, okay? And you realize that this number is not divisible by 4, but we still do the same thing. So when we divide this number by 4, you get, when you divide this by 4, you get this number here. Okay? And because we are doing 25, that means that we need to multiply this number by 100, okay? Because we've established that 25 can be written as 100 over 4. So when you multiply this number by 100, you get this number here, okay? 0, 0, so comma, comma, comma. So the answer to this question is this number here. Are we together? Have you understood? Yes. Okay. So yes, and multiplying 125 by any number is more or less the same thing. Okay. So let's learn how to multiply any number by 125. It's more or less the same thing. Okay? 125 is derived by multiplying 1,000 divided by 8. Okay, that's another way you can write 125. Okay? So, so let's look at an example. If you're asked to multiply this number here, what do? So the first step is to divide this number by 8, okay? Because we've established that 1,000 divided by 8 is 125. So that's why we are dividing this number by 8, okay? So when you divide this number by 8, what do you get? This number, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. When you divide this number by 8, you get this number here, 1. Okay? Yes. And the next step is to multiply it by 1,000. So when you multiply it by 1,000, you'll remove this zeros, the decimal points. So 1, 2, 3. Are we together? And this is the answer to that question. Okay? When you have to multiply this by 125, the answer is this. Are we together? Let's go through another example. What do you do when you're asked to multiply this? Okay? So, same thing here. Same thing, same concept. So the first thing you need to do is to divide this number by 8. Okay? So let's do that. When we do that, we have divide by 8. When you do this, you have you get a number like this, And because we are doing 125, that means that you'll multiply this number by 1,000. And why are we doing this? We are doing this because we've established that 125 can be written as 1,000 divided by 8. So when you multiply this by 1,000, you get 1,000. Okay. So the answer to this question is this number here. Are we together? Do you now see how long we took to do that? So learning these tricks will really save you a lot of time. Okay? Yes, and that was quite easy, right? Exactly. Okay, and because I don't want to make this video too long, I'll stop there and do a part 2 so that I can finish the remaining concepts. That will be it for today. Always remember that practice makes perfect. Math is all about practice, okay? If you enjoyed the lesson, feel free to like, share, because sharing is caring, and subscribe so that you don't miss any time I upload a new video. Subscribing is free. Yay! See you in 2 weeks' time. Same time, same place. Bye!